Hello humans, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, we shape and polish gemstones using a dremel. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. Today we're going to be working on this nice flat flashy piece of rainbow lattice sunstone from Tanzania, and it's got great color showing off. It's pretty flat and should make a great cab. When we weigh it out, it weighs 24.65 carats, and when we shine a flashlight through it, you can see that it's pretty clean. There's no serious fractures going on. There's a bit of light blockage, but I'm pretty sure that's just the stone itself. When we measure it, it's 27 millimeters by 19 millimeters and about 5 millimeters tall. If you guys want to see how the stone gets shaped and polished and turned into a jewel, keep on watching. So starting out shaping the stone, I wanted to make it a nice cushion cut. So I tried to take down those kind of stepping pieces of the stone on the longer parts of it, but I realized it'd be too much effort to take it down with my normal diamond centered barrel bit, so I just sliced off those pieces with my circular little bit that I got here from Suva Lapidary. And you can really see that once I've done that, it's a pretty good rectangle, and I just kind of gotta get the sides evened out and make it more pleasing as far as the dome goes and such. So I started getting the sides flatter by moving it back and forth and kind of trying to hit it from every direction. But in order to decide which side I wanted to be the face and which side I wanted to be the back, I needed to kind of grind out these imperfections that were going on in the stone. There were these milky pieces kind of running through it, and they were blocking out the light from hitting the nice lattice flash that was going on in this piece. And this piece has really good crossing sections and such, so I wanted to make sure that they were really well exposed before I decided which side was going to be which. I wanted to let you guys know though that this stone, as well as the last two sunstones that I bought from a seller called Geckostones. They have an Instagram as well as a eBay page and a Etsy, and they have great stones, really nice sunstones, as well as different kinds of rare feldspars. So I highly suggest that you guys go check them out if you are interested in this kind of material. But moving forward, I was having a really hard time on the side of the stone that was actually brighter. There was a really stubborn piece that was blocking the flash, and you can really see me trying to grind away at it. And I just decided I'm just going to cut right through that and cut another slice off of this stone. And I can use all these slices for something else if the flash shows itself correctly in it. And this longer slice I could definitely use for really small stones or something. So I took that off, and then I ended up with more of a long rectangle, and the part that I ended up slicing that piece off of was really wiggly. So I needed to take that down and get it even on all sides. And this stone, it's pretty big, so it did take a lot of shaping. And once I was pleased enough with the evenness of the sides, I took down the corners to make nice rounded corners. And as you guys saw a few seconds ago, I did have some issues with my bit vibrating, so it's really important to, when you notice a bit more vibration coming from your dremel, to just go ahead and turn it off and tighten it, because that can be really dangerous as it slips out further and it can fly out and hit you in the face. And even if you're wearing a mask and goggles like you should be, it can still cut your cheek or something, so you really want to be careful of that. But once I got the corners rounded, I felt comfortable rounding out the hard edges of the stone, by kind of moving it from the face to the sides and running it at an angle all the way around, and kind of grinding that up towards the middle to make it nice and even, to give it a good pleasing shape and give it a good dome. But with Sunstone, you want it to be a flatter dome. And you guys can see that this is the shape that I ended up with. You could kind of see those imperfections that were going on in the back of the stone, but the face is pretty clear, crystal clear as far as the showing of the lattice goes. So I moved on to my Nova points. And at this point, I'm just moving it in circular motions all the way around, trying to hit it at every different angle that I can, and making sure to roll the edges of it to give it a good dome, because the first two Nova points will give you a lot of the shaping, and they're also the two most determining bits for making sure that you get out all of the scratches from the previous bit. And it's really important to dry it off and take a look at it as you're going. But something to keep in mind is that Sunstone, the inclusions, the Herbonite inclusions that give you that flash, do have little spots that will be exposed, like little divots in the stone. So no matter how much you polish it, some stones will just have these little pockets in it. But the thing about Sunstone is, especially Rainbow Lattice Sunstone, is those little pockets being exposed to the air will help give rainbow color to the stone. So the rainbow color happens when the stone fractures and air gets into it, and so these inclusions get oxidized, and that's what gives it its rainbow. So with a perfect Sunstone that doesn't have any of these pieces ever exposed to air, it will be like kind of gold and silver flash, which is still very beautiful. But for the true rainbow, you won't get a stone with true rainbow that doesn't have some sort of fractures in it to get oxygen into the stone. So that's something to keep in mind. And so if you have these little divots in your Sunstone, to just not worry about it. It's actually kind of a good thing. It may make the surface look worse, but over time, like, those pieces that are exposed to the air will oxidize more and possibly change color. I'm not sure how long it takes for pieces to oxidize, but I thought that was really interesting, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. But as you are polishing, especially if you're using a Dremel like me with felt tips like this, with such a big stone, it's really easy to accidentally grind the stone on the barrel that holds the felt tip in place, and that will leave scratches in it, and you'll have to go all the way back and Nova point and polish it again. So definitely be careful when you're moving it around, and the further into the polishing paste that you go, the more polished it gets, the slipperier it will get. And definitely feel free to use something like tin oxide or cerium oxide if that's what you are comfortable with. I'm sure it'll give it just as good of a polish, if not better, if that's what you're used to using. But definitely be careful not to drop the stone like I did here. So when I dropped it on that last paste, I took a big chunk out of it.
That's been a terrible mistake!
So while I may have dropped it and accidentally taken a chunk out of it, it's still beautiful. It still has a lot of flash, and I'll probably just have to slice it or just give it a reshape on that one side at some point. But when we weigh it out, at this point, it is 9.91 carats. So if we didn't drop it, it probably would have been a 10 carat stone. And when we measure it It is 19 millimeters tall and 12 millimeters wide. And pretty much 4 millimeters tall, height-wise. But I'll probably definitely be giving this a reshape because the color on it is phenomenal. It has so much lattice going on. It's got a lot of gold, but there is still like pinks and blues going on in it. And you can see those little divots that I was kind of talking about in the stone. But the flash is just amazing. And here's a little close-up of the lattice, and you can see it has like some oranges and reds, as well as like pinks and purples and blues, and it's a really stunning stone. You can really see the oxidation of those pieces and just how unique it really is. But you can't win them all, and while I might have messed up this stone, it'll have a second chance when I shape it again. The color's amazing, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yes, it's a shame that I chipped it, but it's always a learning experience. I probably should have dopped it. I don't usually dop big stones, but you know, you live and you learn. There's always a next time, and this stone will get a second lease on life at some point, and if I do that, I will show you guys in a short the finished product. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching this far if you have. If you're still watching, you may as well subscribe. I'd appreciate it if you like this video, you know, it would help the algorithm know that it is enjoyable. If you have a friend to share this with that friend and help make our community stronger. And I'll see you guys next time I make a video. Later.